Okay, so I'm back, but I mean I'm fine for the most part. Right now I'm just gonna try to play. This day didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. And I was just trying to have a chill day. But I mean, now it was that way earlier, but after what happened earlier, yeah, now I'm just kind of just going through the motions. So I'll keep playing. But since my time has been cut down, basically, yeah, I won't be playing, that much. So I just have to like pick it up tomorrow. I don't know. It's just when you have to mediate, things going on with people, especially if it's like different people. It's overwhelming. You gotta make so many considerations and so many things to keep track of. It derails your own plans and everything. So yeah, nothing is ever easy. Anyway, okay, so the notification went out, so people should be coming back. It's already 18. Man. Now the whole day is gone, basically. So I'll wait for people to funnel back in there. Hey, Inferno, welcome back. Okay, so I'm gonna try to finish this battle this time. I might switch games after this. I think I'm gonna play DJ Max. Yeah, the situation, it just made things, it just derailed my plans for today. Yeah, I was planning to just stream different stuff, but there's always something. Okay, so what am I gonna do here? We have those two. So just approach him first. Or I can get him.
今日を作る。
行くよ。副長、お願い。
わかった。邪魔だ。そうそう。
I understand. Life always throwing crap at you when you don't expect it. Yeah. See it, and I had. The thing is, it started like recently, and I'm not gonna like go into detail about it here, but it's like it just came up all of a sudden. You know, even though things were going well, you know, they had things going for this particular person, and all of a sudden, it just started to break down, and don't know why. So I've had to have talks, you know, recently, and it's like, I don't know. And then for okay, so Inferno, you'll know who I'm talking about. So for both of them, I mean, they're never going to change. They always have issues, you know, and they're the cause of, you know, the other person's issues. But it was made worse because of drinking, basically. So. So it's just like, you know, so imagine like having to deal with hearing about, you know, that situation, and you don't know if the person is actually going to come out of it or not, or if you can't do anything for them. You know, the only thing you can do is try. Yeah, but they have the resources. They were given resources to get help, but if you don't take advantage of them, then it's not going to do you any good. But yeah, even now, the big one, yeah, is currently out and doing whatever, you know, which, I mean, for us, you know, we're happy about it because, you know, they're not here. Just bury the issues, yeah. Probably just bury them and, you know, and use alcohol as the way to kind of cope with it. But I don't know. I think another thing is that their mental constitution is probably fragile in the first place. You know, and it might be a result of all the things that happened before. You know, or they just might be more susceptible to it. I don't know. It could be either case. But it's just like, so. But the thing is, so the reason why, you know, the reason why this situation happened, because the reason why I had to, you know, like, take a break from streaming was because they got really upset because the little one had blocked them, and they just spiraled back down into depression and all of this shit. When at first they were talking all of this stuff about, like, oh, I don't care about talking to them, like, I don't, you know, F that person and blah blah blah. I don't care if I never see them again. But then you get so upset because they block you. It makes no sense. You know, ever since they're falling out, which was you know, like years ago, ever since they're falling out, and it's like they haven't spoken. You know, but all they ever do is fight. So it's like like, so what are you getting upset for? I haven't talked to the little one in like, shit, what's it been, like a couple years now or some shit? And I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I don't want to talk to them. I don't like them. You know, but for the big one, I have to deal with it, unfortunately. But anyway, let me go ahead and continue. Now we can see it, you know, how the game plays. So let's see. What am I going to do with her? Let me get her some backup. Well, let me get my character some backup. So let me defer. So she can act again. And then charge in. Okay, that works. Wait, how much did you heal? Did you just heal 59? Oh, hell. That's okay. I'll try to kill him this turn. Yeah. You know, and I've tried, you know, I've tried to talk. I could talk to him and everything, but I can only do so much. You know, and there's certain things that I can understand because of my background in psychology, but it's like, I can't just like magically say something and, you know, something becomes better. I can just give a little bit more clarity on what might be going on. You know, like I said, in their case it might be, you know, like some trauma of some sort. And as far as like the drinking, well, we can't stop them from drinking. You know, ideally, if we could, then yeah, you know, we force them to stop drinking because that's just making everything worse. But yeah, that's the only thing. I have to want it. Ooh, that was powerful. See, now this fight is going a lot better. Actually, let me do a resonance with her. Now stretch it. Okay, cool. So yeah, so it seems like, from the way I understand it, authorities are like special abilities. So you better use like magic and, you know, status effects and shit like that. And then arts are like your different melee attacks. No, actually, it seems like it includes buffs as well. Yeah, I think the way they explain it, authority is stuff that you get from like your pact. Yeah, so whatever demon you have a pact with, that's what your authority will be. And it'll give you like different abilities, and then arts will be like this stuff right here. So yeah, if you want to give the game a try, you know, I would definitely recommend it. But as you can see, you have to be tactical. And also, one of the reasons why it's hard is because I'm playing on, I don't know if I'm playing on hard or I'm playing on normal. Because there were a couple of games I started recently where it didn't have a hard difficulty. You know, probably because I have to unlock it. And I think this might be one of them. So I might be playing on normal at the moment. In fact, let me check. Oh wait, I might not be able to check here. But yeah, I might be on normal. And there we go. So whenever you clear a battle at a high rank, it gives you extra stuff. You like that system, and you'll probably check it out. Okay, good. Let's see. Simple fiend empowering cures. Functional manifestation of daemonity. And then skill is healing factor. Okay. And see, and then so yeah, the system here is called ego. Hey Daniel, welcome back. So yeah, the system is called ego, and you know, and that's how they branch everything off by using the sins as representation. You know, and there's a lot of psychological elements within this as well, because you can actually take like little psychological tests, you know, from like different students, and they'll just actually like random questions, and whatever response you give, it'll give you a stat increase in whichever stat, you know, that they determine is what that, you know, reflects. So, because you know there was a question earlier where you were talking about, you know, you remember blowing bubbles when you were a kid, and somehow you blew a bubble that was larger than normal. And so the question was, you know, like what happened when you made the large bubble? Did it rise up into the sky? Did it rise up to the roof? Or did it pop immediately? So now initially I was going to choose it, it rose all the way up into the sky. You know, even though I've never had a bubble that just rose up into the sky like that. The only ones that did were like the really small ones. So I chose it popped immediately. I was being realistic. Well, that increased my greed. So I don't know what the other ones would increase. See, and this is an ideal. So ideals are what gives the pack bearer power. And that's the pack bearer right there.
愚かな人の劣った目も人体という気候の欠陥ゆえに必要なのは人体を滑る力その気候を支配する
But yeah, as you can see, the game is it's like it's relatively slow paced. You know, you just have to be methodical about your actions, plan things out, you know, and just understand the system. You know, from what you can see, it's probably no harder than any other, you know, RPG that you've played before. You know, it is difficult because the enemies that you fight against can have some powerful skills. You know, like the ones that was using like fire and shit. You know, those take off a lot of damage. But I might be able to get armor or something that'll be able to mitigate that. Yeah, I just haven't gotten it yet because I'm just starting out. So it might be similar to you know, like Persona and SMT, where it can be really challenging at first, but you know, once you settle in and maybe like beat the first boss or some shit, you know, it'll become a lot easier. Now I appreciate y'all for being here. Yeah. You know, like I said, you know, my bad for you know, needing to step away, but you know, it was important. So Daniel, I didn't. Yeah, you weren't here when I said this, but I told Inferno that I'm just gonna, you know, beat that battle, and then after that, I'm gonna stream DJ Max. So I'm just gonna play that. I don't wanna. I don't know. I'm not really in the mood to really play anything else. And plus, I was planning to play DJ Max since we were talking about it earlier. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'll just play that. You know, that way I don't have to, you know, really think too hard on like, you know, like an RPG or something like that, and I can just relax. You know, because I was going to play more AI the Somnium Files, but yeah, I'll just play that tomorrow if everything goes well, at least. And then let's see, what else I want to play. I do want to play more Tales of Arise because I want to continue through Vicinct, so I can you know, eventually get what's her name, Kisara, and I forgot the name of the black guy. You know, the Lord. I forgot his name, but I want to get both of them in my party. So I want to, like, you know, continue through that. Plus, I want to find out, you know, the whole deal with the cat, you know, and find out who was controlling the cat. And Fern, I know you already beat Tales of Arise, but that's where I'm at in the story. I'm in Vicinct, and I'm in that forest where you have to follow the cat, and I'm like right at the entrance. So that's where I stopped off at last time. You know, and Vicinct is the place where it's the place where you first meet Kisara and also that Lord, you know, the black one with the red hair. But Vicinct is the place where you have like the white buildings, and it's had like forests, and all the people are like oddly nice to each other. You know, like the Renans and Danans. Yeah, they're strangely nice to each other, but it all seems like a farce or something. Like, you know, because the party doesn't understand what the hell is going on with that. Like, they've been to Calaglia and Cislodia, and everybody was, you know, being enslaved. Yeah.
契約者を倒せば平和だった日常を取り戻せる。学園が元通りになればみんな幸せ。そうだよね。
But yeah, that Black Lord, he's very impressive. Yeah, when Shion had tried to take a shot at him, you know, in the palace, yeah, the way he deflected her was it was quite skillful. I was like, damn. But yeah, I would expect as much because yeah, he looks like he's a powerful fighter. Now, one thing I remember was from a previous stream. I think it was a stream before. Yeah, I think like the stream I beat Ganabelt, the second Lord, the one that used light and I think light and lightning. Yeah, so he used those two elements, and somebody that came into my stream, they were a new person. They said, like, well, you're going to need to grind for the next one. You know, probably to at least like level 30 or something. Because I think that's what he said that the third one is on. I was like, oh. So yeah, I guess that's what I'll do. I'll try to grind and get up to that level, because if he's going to be that difficult. Because Ganabelt was a real struggle. At first I couldn't beat him. But what helped me to beat him was I put on the accessories that reduced the amount of light and dart damage by 50%. I put that on along with being careful about how I approached them. And then after that, I managed to actually, clutch out the win, even though I was under leveled. Waiting until you see the twist about what is really going on. Yeah, and seeing, yeah, when I first got there, I figured something was off, because there's no way that a place being controlled by a Renin could really be so peaceful like that. And everybody was saying that something doesn't seem right here. Because how did you attain peace when everybody else is being enslaved? I know what you mean. I was actually under leveled the entire game. Yeah, and see, that's the thing with Tales games. Like Tales games are very they're pretty traditional when it comes to like how you're supposed to grind, and you're supposed to just go in, find like a spot where you can find enemies that give you a lot of experience, and then you just put the time in for it. Tales are not they're not like super generous when it comes to like giving you experience bonuses and everything. You just have to grind it out, and once you do that, then you'll be ready for whatever. Because in a few Tales games I've played, there might have been some experience modifiers, but it wasn't like anything that was super crazy where you can just like instantly level up like 10 levels or some shit in a short amount of time. No, you couldn't do that. You just had to grind, and that's it. And I appreciate that about the game, but it's just like it's not like most modern games where if you need to level up quickly, there's usually ways to do that in like a reasonable amount of time. It made it more difficult, but you can still get through it. Yeah. See, and that's what and that's what I was thinking when I beat Ganabelt. I was like, well, even though I was under level, because I think my party was like, I think they were like level 18, something like that. There might have been one that was 17. I think that was probably the case. And it was just like, well, I think Ganabelt was on level 20, so it was rough. But the only thing was, as long as I avoided like that lightning charge he did, because he did it like 2 or 3 times. As long as I avoided that, for the most part, I was fine. And as long as I kept attacking him with law and doing that boost strike, then I was able to handle it. But he was just, he was just a struggle. If I would have grinded more with the enemies that were in the castle, yeah, it would have been an easier time, but still, it didn't seem like he would be like an easy fight overall anyway. So I just bit the bullet and did it. Now I don't know, maybe there could be a spot. There could be some spot within Tales of Arise where you can get experience easier. But as far as I'm concerned, like the things that's most effective for me getting experience would be like like doing side quests and shit like that. Which is pretty standard. That's what you would expect from RPG anyway.
異常が発生してすぐの頃は学園内の混乱がすごくてね。私なりに一生懸命頑張ったんだけど力が及ばなくて事態はどんどんひどくなっていくばかりだった。
Yeah, see, so like I was saying before, Nozomi was originally the student council president, and then once all this craziness started happening, yeah, she had to step down. So and a lot of people they loved they loved her being in that position, because she was she was fair to people, she was kind, she tried to be understanding, but
昔
yeah, just she got usurped by Kurama. Yeah, Ganonbelt, he's a piece of shit. He was a hard fight with crap mechanics. Also, I think my characters were around level 18 too when I fought him. Yeah, see, and it was hard to see, and I actually tried to grind. I tried to grind a little bit before the fight against them, because when I first went at him, he absolutely destroyed me. I was like, well, shit. So I did my best to try to like fight against enemies, but there wasn't really like any like strong enough enemies that actually gave worthwhile experience, and I would have to like keep resetting and keep going out of the area and back in order to like fight them again, and it just came at a certain point I just got tired of it, because when Daniel and Alberto were watching me, like they saw that I was trying to grind that way I can be more prepared against them, but I just ended up looking up tips on how to make the fight easier. And the solution that worked was just equipping everybody with the light and dark 50% reduction damage. Just do that, and that'll make things a lot smoother. Yeah, because it's just his fight was just unnecessarily difficult. Especially for a second lord. The first guy, he wasn't bad at all. Like even if I was somehow under level for that fight, like hell, I couldn't tell because he was pretty simple. He definitely hits like a truck, but his attacks were easy to avoid though. He didn't have no bullshit. But Ganonbelt though, it's like hell, he fought like he was the fucking fourth boss or some shit. And it's like damn.
でも私はみんなの期待を裏切って悲しませた。
Oh yeah, and so Inferno. So another thing, now, so as far as like how they get their weapons, yeah, I could see the comparison to like Shin Megami Tensei and Persona. I can see the comparison there because it is kind of similar to that, where if as long as their will is strong enough, then they'll be able to unlock that part of themselves where they can manifest the will to fight, and that's essentially what they do. So it's like the same concept, but it's its own thing. They're definitely not like taking direct inspiration from it. It's just something that, okay, well, like that's a pretty cool idea, but they have their own system.
正確に抜けてるところもあるし、副長には見られ。
But it doesn't take too much from like any one of them, to where it's just like a blatant copy.
私なんかが新生徒会の会長になったこと、間違いなんじゃないかって不安なんだ。
Okay, so the true student council is basically the group with the main character, Nozomi, Vanitas the rabbit, and the doctor that you saw earlier, the one that I was in his office after I had died, Yeah, you know him, and then the main character's little sister Chio. So they call themselves the True Student Council because they have the ability to, you know, like go into the mist and, well, they're trying to you know, actually help the academy and, you know, solve mysteries and shit like that.
また期待に応えられなかったり、誰かを不幸にしてしまうんじゃないかって。
Wait, but wait until you meet the last Lord. You will love him. He actually made me say that when I first fought him. Oh, really? You know, usually whenever you say that I would love a certain character, yeah, it turns out you know you end up being, you know, absolutely right, because yeah, there are certain characters where when I actually saw them for myself, I was like, oh hell yes, I love this character. So wait, who's your favorite character in the main cast? Who'd you like? Did you like Law, or did you like the that Black Lord, or who? It's like that character. It's like that character was tailor made for you. Wait, seriously? Oh, hold up. If he's that fucking cool, then that's probably gonna be like the type of energy where I'm gonna have to make him my profile picture on Discord or something. If it's like that, then I can't wait. You know, that, in fact, that inspires me to play it. I'm definitely gonna play it tomorrow.
自信を持つのって難しいね。
Alphen with Law being second, and you know, I was actually thinking, I was like, well, like considering it's you, I was thinking like, well, okay, it has to be either Law or Alphen, because, you know, Alphen being like, you know, he has fire and he's a sensible guy, you know, he shit, you know, just all around cool person, you know, but Law, you know, since he got them hands, I know that you really appreciate that like I do. So I was like, well, he probably loves, you know, the fact that he uses his you know, his bare hands in order to fight people. My favorite so far, well, I like everybody, really. You know, there's things about everybody that I really like. So I tried to give each character, you know, like you know, like a little bit of love, you know, playing with them and everything. So I made them the leader, and you know, I've been going around playing as them, you know, just to try to, like, you know, learn each one of their play styles and shit. So that's been cool. But I did spend quite a bit of time on Law. I will say that much, because I you know, I just love, you know, hand-to-hand combat. You know, and of course I was rocking Alphen, you know, for a long time at the beginning, but it occurred to me, I was like, well, I do want to play as other characters. I don't want to just only play Alphen. You know, because it's not that type of game where you should only just play the main character. You know, Shion is fun when I want to just kick back and zone. You know, Renwell is definitely fun. Like, I love just casting spells and, you know, just nuking everything. And plus, you know, plus I think she's cute. You know, her and her owl Hoodle. I'm pretty sure, you know, Danya, you know, that's her favorite character. Renwell and Hoodle. Yeah, she loves both of them. You'll see him before the fourth Lord, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, okay. So after the current one I'm on, then I'll see. Okay. Oh yeah, this is Kurama. Now you see how this dude look? He even look like he's evil, doesn't he?
新生徒会だって。君たちも学園長もずいぶんバカにしてくれる。まるで僕たちが偽物のような言いざまじゃないか。皆を導き守り、由緒正しい組織であるのは僕らなのに。
Me too. I love Renwell and Shion. Yeah, Shion is really cool. I love her no nonsense attitude. But she's extremely compassionate. Like she's always healing random people. Dude looks shady as fuck. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can just tell just by looking at him. In fact, like whenever I see a person that looks like this, especially they wear all white, I think cult leader. And plus judging by the way that his followers act, yeah, that's essentially what it is.
だが許そう。君たちが愚かなのは今
Oh yeah,
始ま
and
った
also you don't have to play this game in Japanese. Like I decided to because, I don't know. Whenever I play games that have like an anime feel to them, like Scarlet Nexus, Persona, and shit like that, like I have to listen to the voices and see like what fits better with the characters that I have. Is it Japanese like I would be inclined to go with usually, or is it English? In Persona, I think the English voices did an incredible job. Cult leader sounds about right. Yeah. but yeah, with Persona I went with English voices. I actually tried the Japanese voices for Persona, and there's two that really stand out in the Japanese version, and that's Yusuke and the main protagonist Joker. Both of them sound incredible. Yusuke absolutely carries the rest of them. Like, I'm telling you, his voice is that good. But just like the other voices, it's like for An and Ryuji, it was like they tried to sound American, but with Japanese voices, and it just didn't fit that well. It's not like it was terrible, but it's just like you can tell it was obvious that they were going for that sort of vibe. And I was like, I ain't really feeling that. Morgana, he sounded about what I expected, so I don't have no problem with his voice. And then and then the others, just like, well, pretty standard. But it's just like the English voices, yeah, all of them are pretty freaking amazing. So that's why I go with that. For this one, yeah, when I heard the English voice, I was like, okay, they sound cool. But when I heard the Japanese voice, it's just like, yeah, it sounds a lot better. Like Vanitas has a high ass voice in the English, and I was like, oh hell no. In Japanese, his voice is deep. And you heard his voice. The little bunny. Yeah, his voice is deep in the Japanese version. Yeah, because Vanitas in English, his voice is really high, and he always speaks in riddles. Well, not in riddles, in rhyme. So imagine a high-ass voice on a bunny that looks, really evil, and he's always rhyming. It'll probably annoy the shit out of you. I can't say that for sure, but I'm sure it'll annoy somebody. So his more, his deep voice, yeah, I prefer that. I always just choose Japanese usually. Yeah. And usually I do as well. For Scarlet Nexus, I chose Japanese, and that's perfect. Because that game is literally an anime.
それはさておき、君たちが霧の中から帰ってくるたび、僕のイデアが何者かに壊されていっているようだ。
It appears that every time you return from the mist, another of my ideals is destroyed. So he just straight up admitting that it is him.
まさか偶然の一致というわけではないだろう。
何を言ってるのかわからないかな。
無意味な腹の探り合いはよそう。愚かだ。僕は傲慢の権能を持つ契約者だ。
The authority of pride. I'm not surprised.
Hell,
just by the way he acts.
彼らは僕の支配下にある。惹かれたところで問題はない。 聞こえても聞こえてない。僕の権能によって夢心地の意識さ。
They having the free will to remember a thing.
ひどい。
愚かな君のことだ。どうせ全ての契約者を倒し、学園を元に戻そうとでも考えているんだろう。
Rod catch that fool slipping and give out those hands free of charge.
断言しよう。無理だ。君たちが契約者に勝てるわけがない。仮に僕を倒せたとしても学園の混乱が増し、
Even if you were to defeat me, it will only increase the chaos and casualties alike.
よすんだ。
Yeah, sure, you say that now.
なんてな。
Wait, did he just...
彼に何をしたの？
Did he just inflict madness on me or something?
僕は愚かではない。そして君たちは愚かだ。話し合いでは拉致が開かないことくらいは。だから彼の物分かりをよくしてやったのさ。
まさか洗脳？
今にわかるさ。
最低。副長、お願い、正気を取り戻して。
違うぞ、ひなた。愚かな君たちは僕に支配されてようやく正気になれるんだ。むしろ感謝してくれ。
Of course, we should be grateful.
狂ってる。
バカを言うな。狂ってるのは世界の方さ。それにお前もすぐに理解できる。強制してやる。
Remake you in my image. See how this fool talking like he a god or something?
さあ、副長君、ひなたを捕らえるんだ。何？どういうことだ？なぜ聞かない？何なんだお前は。まさかお前も契約者か？権能の力なのか？
副長、大丈夫？
権能が効かないのならスマートではなく説的な手段で排除する。
Damn, he definitely needs the hands. Absolutely.
みんな、ひなたたちを捕まえろ。二度と愚かなことができないよう教育してやれ。
See, now that's his real voice right there.
大丈夫。君のことは私が守るから。
格好をつけられるのもせいぜい今のうちさ。自らの愚かさを知れ。
Oh shit, hold up.
お前こそ愚かさを噛みしめろ。
辻君。
Damn, Yusuke, okay.
お前たちが悪いんだ。彼女を奪うから。解放しないから。
Straight up ran up on this man with a knife. Okay, but yeah, when Yusuke lost his girl, he was saying that Nozomi is no help or anything. He said that's alright, I'll handle it. I guess this is what he meant there. So just to give you context, Inferno, yeah, Yusuke, his girlfriend, actually started hanging out with Kurama in his gang. So, based on what you've seen, obviously that means that she's been brainwashed, and that's been tearing him up. So he wanted to go to Nozomi, for help, but she couldn't really do anything. She was like, well, we have to wait and see what happens. And so he got pissed off, and then he left. And then after that, now this is where we found him. Bro, how did you miss and hit that man on his whole body a big ass target? That is true.
Hinata, 仕切り直そう。どいつもこいつも愚かに過ぎる。
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, how did you only wound him? Like, that should have been an easy knife through the fucking chest or something.
だが、これ以上愚か者どもの好きにはさせない。僕が絶対にみんなの安全を守るんだ。
That's video game logic for you. Hey, Inferno. So if he was wounded like that, and you had got rid of the brainwashing like the main character did, now would you run up on him and hit him on the back of his head? and I'm talking about like a fucking hammer fist or something, or like an overhead punch.
Nozomi さんって卒業したらどうするんですか？教職課程のある大学へ進学したいなって考えてるよ。
Oh, she wants to be a teacher?
Nozomi さんは先生になりたいんですか？うん。小学校の先生になることが目標。
Oh, she want to work at elementary school. Okay.
ノゾミさんだったら素敵な先生になること間違いなしですよ。でもどうして小学校の先生になりたいんですか？小学校の頃の親友が先生に憧れていてね。私も憧れてかな。
Alright, we'll go ahead and save it. Alright, so I'm gonna play DJ Max now. The hell yeah, then I'll stomp the shit out of him. Why didn't he have the other two jump him? He was hurt. Yeah, they should have got on his ass. But yeah, I'll be right back. I want to switch to DJ Max.